Well, good afternoon, almost, everyone, and welcome to our March Manatee Chamber of Commerce Headliners Luncheon. It is great to see a full house because baseball is back. I think it was serendipitous that many months ago we were in conversations with the Pirates, and Mr. Williams so graciously agreed, when there was still so much uncertainty, to secure this date. And had things worked out differently, it could have been a game today, but instead, the first game is 49 hours and 7 minutes away. I know many of you in the room will be at the ballpark on Friday. We are lucky to have 9 home games here in Bradenton, and I look forward to seeing many of you at the games coming up in the next 2 weeks. So I neglected to introduce myself. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Jackie Dazelski, President and CEO of the Manatee Chamber. And again, welcome to our March Headliners events. If you could take out your mobile devices and just silence them, we're fine with photos and what have you today, but if we could just avoid any ringing phones, that would be very helpful to everyone that will be at the podium today. And now that you've done that, if you could please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You may take your seats. As I said, it's been many months in the works that we were able to secure Travis Williams to join us today to address the business community on what we can expect in the upcoming season and even in the upcoming next 2.5 weeks. So thank you so much to Travis and to the entire Pirates organizations for making this possible. My understanding is he arrived here on our beautiful coast yesterday, and one of his first stops is with the business community. I want to recognize several of elected officials that joined us today. So if you could please give us a wave, we'll hold our applause until the end. We have City of Bradenton Mayor Jean Brown, as well as Councilwoman Marianne Barnaby, who my understanding is will be singing the national anthem in 49 hours and 4 minutes. We also have County Commissioners Misty Servia, Carol Whitmore, George Cruz, and I believe we're expecting Commission Chairman Kevin Van Ostenbridge to join us today as well. I hope that I haven't missed anyone else, but would you please put your hands together and thank these public servants for serving our community. As you likely know, we have a number of organizations that step forward each year to be annual sponsors of our Headliner series to allow us to deliver these types of speakers and topics to the Manatee Chamber's membership every month. And those organizations are Florida Power and Light, the Mosaic Company, and the Realtors Association of Sarasota Manatee. So thank you so much for the investment you make in the Chamber's programming. I also want to thank our platinum level investors. You know the traveling banner, the infamous banner, is with us at all major events, but these organizations step forward to make a significant financial investment well above their annual dues to support the work that the Chamber does with all of your engagement in the community. And that is Brown & Sons Funeral Homes and Crematory, Carr, Riggs & Ingram, IMG Academy, Manatee County Government, Manatee Memorial Hospital, MCR Health and All Care Options, the Mosaic Company, NDC Construction, the Pittsburg Pirates and Bradenton Marauders, Raymond James Wealth Management, Bruce Body, the Sarasota Bradenton International Airport, and South State Bank. Thank you so much for the investment that you make in the Chamber. In just a minute, we're going to allow the great team here at Pier 22 to serve our lunch, so we'll take a little bit of a break to allow that commotion to settle down before we welcome Mr. Williams to the microphone. And after lunch, you will be hearing from Stu Henderson, who is on the Manatee Chamber's Executive Committee as our Vice Chair of Public Policy and Workforce. He is owner and design architect with Folly Bryant Architecture, and he will be introducing our very special guest as soon as we come back from our lunch break. So please enjoy your meal, and we'll be back with you in just a few minutes.
My name is Stu Henderson, as Jackie said. I'm an owner with Steve Padgett, my partner, and Amanda Parrish, my partner. I'm the director of design and an architect at Foley Bryant Architecture. Foley Bryant is honored to have partnered with the Pittsburgh Pirates for many years, and very excited to have Travis Williams, the president of the Pittsburgh Pirates, with us today. The Pirates program has quite a history in Bradenton. Bradenton has been the Pirates' spring training home for the last 53 years, since 1969. The Pirates actually joined the Manatee Chamber before they even fielded a team in Bradenton. They joined in 1968. It was an early signal of the significant commitment and investment the Pirates organization would make in our community, even off the field. As we know, they play at Lecom Park, right in the heart of downtown Bradenton, which opened in 1923. However, did you know that Lecom Park is one of the oldest ballparks in the country still being used for spring training? And a fun fact, on December 9th, 1920, the Manatee County Board of Trade, now known as the Manatee Chamber of Commerce, voted to bring Major League Baseball here in an attempt to stimulate the economy. Well, it worked. 100+ years later, the economic impact of baseball and the Pirates and Bradenton Marauders more than exceeds $40 million for our local economy. In addition to its significant economic impact, the Pirates and its employees are also known for their strong community impact, supporting many nonprofit and civic organizations in our area. The Pirates and the Bradenton Marauders Baseball Club is a platinum investor in the Manatee Chamber. And Jeff Podobnik, the Pirates' Vice President of Florida and Dominican Operation, is Chairman-elect for the Chamber. He'll be taking over the helm as our Chairman of the Board in January 2023. Oh boy. And Craig Wercheka, General Manager of the Bradenton Marauders, is the Chairman of our amazing Manatee Young Professionals program. Now I have the privilege of introducing Travis Williams and sharing a little of his bio with you. Travis began his role as president for the Pirates in November of 2019. In his role, he is responsible for the baseball and business operations of the organization. Prior to joining the Pirates, Travis spent several years with the Pittsburgh Penguins and New York Islanders. A graduate of Pennsylvania State University and Duquesne University Law School, Travis started his career as an attorney, where he represented several sports franchises, including the Pirates. One of the smartest people I know. Without further ado, please welcome Pirates President Travis Williams.
Thank you, Stu, for that kind introduction. I was just, as you were saying that, I was reading the headliners. It says, Hot Topics, Cool Speakers. And I don't know if my kids would say that I'm a cool speaker, so you'll have to indulge me on that one. But on the hot topics, baseball is back. And this could have been a much different speech if a certain agreement didn't get done. But no, it really feels great to be here today with all of you. And it feels great to have baseball back on the field at Pirate City and at Lecom Park. I want to thank and recognize a few people before I get into my remarks. First of all, I want to thank Bradenton Mayor Gene Brown. Not only do I want to thank him, but I want to make sure that his arm's ready for throwing out that first pitch on Friday. We may need you to go a couple innings too, given the short turnaround on spring training. And as you've heard, that Councilwoman Barnaby is going to sing the national anthem. It also is a celebration of her 65th birthday that day as well. So we're going to have a huge cake. All of you are welcome to come and have a piece of cake in her honor. And I want to thank Bradenton City, the new administrator, Rob Perry, for all that he has done thus far in his role to help us out. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention Carl Callahan, who for a very long time has been a great partner with our organization. Also want to thank and recognize Manatee County Commissioner Chair Kevin Van Ostenbridge. Thank you very much for being here today. The commissioners, George Cruz, Misty Servia, and Carol Whitmore. Manatee County Administrator, Dr. Scott Hopes as well, Elliot, our good friend Elliot Falchione, who always is reminding us that we are a sister city in Pittsburgh to you in Bradenton, a relationship that we certainly enjoy. And last but not least, Rick Piccolo, President and CEO of the airport. Also want to thank Stu for the kind introduction and Folly Bryant for all the good work that you've done for us through the years, as well as our friends at NDC Construction as well, and the good work they've done at Lecom Park, as you can see. But all of you have been great. All of you in the room have been great friends and partners to our organization throughout the years. This is a special opportunity. I did get to speak to all of you last year. For those of you who remember, we were looking like we were on a screen. It looked like the Hollywood Squares, and you got a chance to listen to me that way. But it's awesome to be here in person. It's the first time I've actually been able to address you in person since I became president in November of 2019. Only just 2 years ago, but it certainly feels like a lifetime, I'm sure it has for all of us over the last couple of years. I thought it was going to be a smooth transition when I came in here, but life certainly has thrown us a couple of curveballs, and actually I think I got a high and inside pitch as well. So beyond the pandemic, I think I've had 2 back surgeries since I started, in addition to it. So I've been on the IR, I've been off the IR, I've been held up with protocols and everything else. But it's great to be here and really enjoy being here today. What it does remind me of, though, is that even though we've been through a lot, what I think is really wonderful about it is that we as an organization and you as a business community have managed to get through it and come together. And I think that's something that we all should be proud of, something that we all enjoy, and I think that's the special bond and relationship. As I've said many times in Pittsburgh, Pittsburghers lean in times of need, and I would say that this was especially true of Bradenton as well. All of you leaned in, and I'd be remiss if I also didn't acknowledge over the past 2 years the real help that we got from Manatee Memorial Hospital. Their doctors, their administration was phenomenal, helping our players get through protocols and navigate what was an unusual time for all of us, and I'm sure the service that they gave to the community as well as a whole, and we should certainly be proud and thankful for all they've done. But it does really show what this community is about, and it shows how blessed we are as a Pirates organization and the Marauders organization to be a part of it. So thank you. As Stu mentioned, this does mark the 53rd season in which we are lucky enough to be a partner with the city of Bradenton. And Lecom Park actually is not one of the oldest, it is the oldest ballpark that features Major League Baseball spring training games. That's quite remarkable, and it has a real charm about it. I mean, that's the first thing that struck me when I saw it a few years ago when I came down in my first stint as president, first spring training as president. And I was really thinking about it as I was walking onto the field yesterday for the first time, and I kept thinking about, the people that have been on that field, if you think about it. I mean, you've got names like Clemente, Mazeroski, Stargell, Parker, Bonds, McCutcheon, and so on. And I think what's even more exciting is that it's going to see that next generation of stars continue to develop because, it's not only an amazing part of the history of our organization that started here, but also it's going to help us forge the future of our organization as well. And proud to say that, through all of this, our relationship with Manatee County and with the city of Bradenton has only continued to strengthen. Mayor and I were at dinner last night and just talking about this and talking about how that relationship has evolved over the years. And I do believe it truly is a model of how a city, a county, and a team can come together and be a model partnership for how sports organizations should work with the state of Florida. So you should all be proud of how you've really come around and helped us out, and I want to thank you for that. But what's interesting is that evolution of not only the relationship, but the evolution of how that facility has been used. This is not only our spring training home, but it really has become the year-round southern home for the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're starting to see, as the sport of baseball has evolved, so has our president's been in Bradenton on a year-round basis. And I know that commitment to Bradenton and to our facilities here is something that our chairman, Bob Nutting, feels extremely strong about. During my first trip here, it was neat to walk around with him and have him explain to me with a passion in his voice how much this has evolved over time. The transformation of that facility at Pirate City has been quite remarkable, from an old motel-style facility to a state-of-the-art baseball complex that has multiple fields, dorm rooms, a nutrition center, batting cages, development labs, technology improvements, and much, much more. And it just keeps evolving, and it really is amazing. And it's going to continue to evolve as the game of baseball evolves. And that's our commitment to work with you to make sure that we keep up with all those other facilities and what they bring to teams. But Pirate City truly is a hub for our player development on a year-round basis. No matter where a player enters into our system, at some point they're going to come back and they're going to enjoy the benefits of Pirate City, or they're going to be at LECOM during spring training. And that's really important. And so whether it's in season or year-round, during that specialized training is really going to help us ultimately get to what we want to do, which is build that championship caliber team. And in fact, we did have a championship caliber team this year, right? Our Bradenton Marauders, championship, yep. So I think not only what you saw in Bradenton, but what you're going to see as it works up through the system, and what you're going to see come back here and use the facilities to train are going to be a real big part of our future. I did fly in yesterday, as Stu mentioned earlier, and I was able to be with the team yesterday for its first official workout at LECOM. LECOM is not only the oldest spring training facility, but oddly enough, it's also the third oldest facility in which Major League Baseball is played. There's only two other facilities that are older than that, which is Fenway and Wrigley. So that's also a little special little tidbit as well about it. But what impresses me more is the fact that despite its age, consistently ranks as one of the best ballparks in Florida, and in particular from the fan experience. And when I was brought on, that's one of the things that Bob and I talked about a lot, was making sure that we focus in on the fan experience, making sure that we engage and we really connect with our fans. And when you look at LECOM and the intimacy of it, and I think that was a real inspiration for how we think about PNC Park as well. And as a matter of fact, your 360 view of the field, and when we put the boardwalk in the outfield, is a real inspiration for what we're actually doing at PNC Park this year and some of the improvements that we're making as well. But we're really excited, again, the commitment of the fans and the commitment to our future in Bradenton is not only strengthened as we look forward, and we're going to continue to look for ways to make sure that we also improve the facilities as well. And off the field, we also get support from the community, especially the business community, and we love to give that back, and we make sure that we support you as well. We're giving community support in areas of education, including our Adopt a School program that we do, in support of Education Foundation. We're proud to support the Boys and Girls Club on an annual basis as well, to give our kids more opportunities for healthy activities, including the local RBI program. And of course, we've always supported the Miracle League of Minnesota program as well. So we're really proud of that, in which we give back to the community. And then you can also see our impact in other ways. As you mentioned, Jeff is going to become the chairman of the chamber. Craig is already the president of the Young Professionals, and Ray as well is on the board of the Boys and Girls Club. So it's good for our people as well to be back and involved in the community. What did amaze me early on in my tenure was when I came here the first time for spring training before it got shut down in 2020, was that I got a chance to go out and meet a lot of the fans who were there. And what really, really drew me in and amazed me was the fact that everybody that is here, they plan their lives around Pirates baseball in Bradenton. They've either relocated here and permanently come here. Some are snowbirds. I've met a couple in the crowd today. Rekindled actually with one of my old former colleagues at Reed Smith, whose parents are here. There's also people that frankly, they plan their travel and their vacation around it. I know Elliot loves that when they do that as well, but I think that's just awesome that you see that level of support that really is drawn in through the sport of baseball, the game of baseball, what it does for Florida, but what it does in particular for Bradenton and Manatee County. As leader of the business community, I think one of the things you wanted me to talk about as well is about how I do what I do on a day-to-day basis on the business side of our operations. And from my perspective, my principal role really is to make sure that all of us in our executive leadership team are really aligned with Bob's vision for the organization, and ensure that at the end of the day we execute on that vision, both on the baseball side and on the business side. Luckily, I'm blessed to have a general manager in Ben Sherrington, who is tremendous. I think many of you have probably heard him speak publicly, but he has a real clear vision for what we're trying to do as an organization and what we want to do moving forward in order to build that next championship caliber team, and how important this facility, the facilities here in Bradenton are to that end goal. And I also have a very talented team of executives on the business side who help drive our business operations as well. Like any business, and I'm sure in many of yours, it's extremely important. It was extremely important to me when I took on this role that together as a leadership, we really develop, as a leadership team, we develop who we are as an organization and what we stand for at the end of the day. And after much internal discussion and debate, we developed what we termed our North Star, our compass, and our map. Jeff's going to laugh and smile when I say this because he was part of these long, grueling retreats that I put them through when I first came on board. But it was really important at the end of the day that we develop our North Star, which in essence is our mission, our vision, which is to be a championship caliber organization and a premier sports and entertainment destination, boldly and relentlessly pursuing excellence, to be known for purposely developing a people and player-centered culture, deeply connecting with our fans, partners, and colleagues, passionately creating lifetime memories for generations of families and friends, and meaningfully impacting our communities in the game of baseball. Our compass, which is really our behaviors or values, many of you may have these types of statements in your organization, are passion, innovation, respect, accountability, teamwork, empathy, and service. And for those of you that are following along in your program, that does spell pirates. We had to do something to make it easy to remember. And we tied each of these elements to a saying or something that was easy for our employees to remember, which is passion is really that we are brand and culture ambassadors. Both internally and externally, we're passionate about the Pirates brand. Innovation means we're fearless thought leaders. We're not afraid to fail forward, take chances, that bold and relentless pursuit of excellence. Respect means that we follow the platinum rule. We don't treat each other as we want to be treated, rather we treat them as they want to be treated. Accountability means that we can count on one another. We hold each other accountable, but we're also accountable at the same time. Teamwork means that we always win and we sometimes lose, but we do it as a team at the end of the day. Empathy means we have open ears and minds at all times, and service means that we serve with a humble heart. Our map is our goals or objectives that we have, and we've narrowed those down into strategic priorities for us, driving operational excellence, fostering a collaborative culture, connecting our fans and our partners to our brand, growing revenue while increasing value, and last but not least, building a championship caliber team. So those are our priorities that we focus on, and everything we do, our daily decisions and our strategic initiatives that we build are built around those 5 strategic priorities. If you think about driving operational excellence, it's about improving fundamentals, doing the little things really well all the time. Whether we're on the field and you're taking batting practice or you're fielding practice, or whether it's off the field and we're making sure we put it on an event for our fans and our partners, it's all about making sure the little things are done correctly. And creating efficiencies, optimizing our efficiencies, our performance, and making sure we eliminate waste. I'm sure many of you focus on that in your day-to-day business as well. Fostering a collaborative culture is about attracting and retaining diverse talent and allowing everyone to be able to do their best work. I always say we want to put people in the right places and provide them with the right resources in order to succeed. That's the most critical thing that we can do as leaders in our organization. We want to connect fans and partners to our brand, which is about creating a clear identity and exceptional experiences around that identity, with the understanding that at the end of the day, we can lose a game but have a really good experience and our fans will come back. We can also win a game and have a really bad experience and that fan's not going to come back. And so we think about that in our day in and day out lives. And that's one of the things that I, as Jeff knows, pound into everybody on a regular basis. Building a championship caliber team is really about developing a player and people-centered culture that I mentioned earlier that we want to be known for, and driving continuous improvement in evaluating, acquiring, developing, and deploying talent. In a small market team, people and process are equally as important as anything else that we can do, and that's really what allows us in a small market, as a small market team, to create a competitive advantage over those large market teams, is making sure we have top talent that's surrounding our players and coaching them, and making sure that we're putting processes in place that are cutting edge and ahead of others. A large part of that is what we do here, quite frankly, right at Pirate City and at LECOM. And just like any other baseball club or player, results need to be measured, right? Everybody's measured on their batting average, their ERA, whatever it may be. Well, we measure our business on metrics as well. We spent the last year developing those metrics. I'm sure many of you do this in your business on a day in and day out basis. And it's not easy. It's tough. These are easy. Sports, most people don't think of sports as a business, but we're a business no different than any of yours. And we want to make sure that we're doing it the right way. We want to make sure that we hold people accountable. And we want to make sure that at the end of the day, we are driving towards our North Star, using our compass to keep us on that road, and making sure that we're following our map towards success. So I want to thank you for inviting me here today, letting me be a part of this special occasion. Hopefully I lived up to the hot topics and cool speaker mantra. And I can just say that at the end of the day, we are looking forward to another 50-plus years with all of you around the tables here in Bradenton and Manatee County. I look forward to seeing you at Lecom Park, hopefully on Friday, so we can hear some singing, watch a good starting pitcher, and hopefully you get a chance to come up and see us in Pittsburgh as well. So let's go Bucks. Yeah, absolutely.
Travis has graciously saved time to take questions from you all, from our chamber membership. So we do have a microphone over here to my left, most of your right, so that we can capture the audio for the METV recording. So we would love to welcome you all to the microphone if you have any questions. While you all are making your way, I will say, as a mom of a daughter who insisted on playing baseball first before softball, congratulations on the hiring of Ms. Callahan. It's an exciting time right now in professional sports for women, and I just want to applaud you for that.
Thank you. And the good news is that we have 85 women throughout our entire organization on the business and baseball side, which is pretty remarkable. I think in percentage terms, it's almost north of 20% of our entire workforce, and in really key positions. On my leadership team, both baseball and business, out of the 8 direct reports I have, 25%, 2 of them are female, and one minority as well. So it's something we pride ourselves on. I know it's something that Ben feels strongly about, that there needs to be more of a diverse influence in baseball, and diverse includes having that female presence as well in the leadership team. And Caitlin's the first piece, but will be the first of many going forward. So thank you for recognizing that. Mayor.
Hey, Travis, thank you.
Two-seamer.
And Commissioner Van Ostenbridge says, what does one pitch get me in the new collective bargaining agreement?
Minimum salary.
Minimum salary right now. I just wanted to say thank you, and I know, the history has been there, and I've been around this community obviously my whole life, and with a lot of the people here, and the Pirates mean so much to our community, and I think it's going to be important as we've talked over time, and the way we develop and grow even our urban core, is the Lecom and the Pirates are going to be a big part of that, because obviously if Lecom was on the waterfront, it would be a lot easier to develop around, but it's what we appreciate the Pirates and what they've done on all the years, and how we are going to help connect our city from Lecom to the Village of the Arts, to downtown, to the Riverwalk. And I know it's a partnership with all of us. The county obviously is great, Elliot with what he does through the CVB and that, and the city of Bradenton is thankful for the Pirates for being here. So thank you for all you do, and the great staff you have, and we've watched some of them grow up and play football in our town, and then be able to stay at that point.
And so, I know you're a football fan.
Yeah, so definitely. So thank you.
If people don't want to walk up to the microphone, if they just want to shout out a question, I'm happy to repeat it. That way we have it at least for the video. Oh, there we go. Hey. Oh, good.
Let me get down.
So I love what you were saying on your vision, and one thing that kind of struck with me is you guys really focus on what the fans of the Pittsburgh Pirates are looking for. How do you kind of measure fan happiness and how they feel about you guys? I would love to hear how you, like, some of the metrics you guys use or what you use to get that information.
Yep. No, great question, and as I said, and you're right, I focus on I think of it as the fan journey. So when I think of, in terms of fan experience, I'm thinking of the experience in the entire journey, whether you're actually staying at home and want to sit on the couch and watch the game, or whether you're going to go on our website and think about buying a ticket, all the way through the entire journey while you're there. At every point, there's an experience that you can have, right? And we want to make sure that experience at every point along the way is exceptional. And so we measure that, and we measure it through surveying is a big part of it. Matter of fact, we just launched a big, going into the season, we're launching a big initiative called the Voice of the Consumer, Voice of the Fan, essentially. And at every touch point that they have with us, whether they're watching at home and we know they're watching at home, we're surveying them, sending them small little 3 to 5 question surveys and getting that back. Everything's driven to what we in essence call Net Promoter Score. And so we're always looking for a positive Net Promoter Score to make sure that at the end of the day, they would recommend that people want to come back, or they would recommend it to their friend to come back. And that includes the ticket purchasing process, navigating the traffic, the parking, all the way through the entry gates in terms of the times and the throughputs that we look at, the concession lines, how clean the bathrooms are. We do surveying on that. I mean, we survey literally at every step along the way, because if something's bad, as I said, we can win all the games we want. If somebody has a bad experience, they will not come back to PNC Park, and we've seen that. And we do surveying throughout the season, and we do surveying then postseason as well, and we do focus groups with our fans at each stage. And that's really that voice of the fan process that we put in place this year.
So growing up as a 9-year-old in upstate New York, I had one of those black and yellow plastic batting helmets that had a 21 on it. So go Pirates. So question, after a half a century, I think, the NL is finally bringing the DH in. Question is, were the owners against it? Were the players against it? And then how do you think it's going to affect the NL game? Batting average, runs scored, averages, et cetera.
Well, I think a couple things. And again, this is all crystal ballish, right? Nobody knows exactly how it's going to impact the game at the end of the day. But I think, number one, I don't think anybody was truly against it. I think maybe there was a little bit of posturing around this issue relative to other issues. But I think everybody in the end of the day was supportive of it to be a consistent form of baseball between both the National League and the American League. I think from a player's perspective, they certainly liked it, right? There's more opportunity for different types of roster guys to be able to go in and improve their statistics and ultimately get paid more, which I think is what all the agents wanted, and I think what the union wanted on their behalf, which is good for the players. I think from a team perspective, it actually may change a little bit of the strategy of the game. I've talked a little bit about this with Derek Shelton in terms of, now you're not making a decision to pull a pitcher necessarily because he's coming up to bat, right? And if he's got a hot arm and he's playing well, and you don't have to make that decision any longer. So I think you'll see some strategy changes. I think it'll evolve. And I think, Derek and his staff are well equipped to be able, they've done a lot of research on it. They've brought people actually on our staff from the American League who have been around the strategy of how you use the DH and win, intentionally because we knew it was coming down the pike, and making sure that we're ahead of the curve. Again, bringing in those people, those resources, those processes to make sure we're deploying our talent as best as possible. So I think it'll be interesting. I don't know how it'll impact the score of the game at the end of the day. Probably gives you a little bit of more offensive threat, as opposed to if you keep a pitcher in there because he's got a hard arm and you don't want to pull him and make that decision, and you may have bases loaded and your pitcher's up with 2 outs and you'd rather have a DH. So I suspect it'll probably increase it a little bit, but I don't think there's a real marked difference right now between American League and National League in that regard anyways. So be interesting to see. Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good.
Nick Sack, Boyd Insurance and Investments, Travis. I think I can speak for everybody here. This isn't a question, this is a comment. I mean, again, the happiness moment that we're actually going to have baseball is great. If you can take this back to the other presidents of the organizations, thanks for not screwing it up. Thanks for doing this, because it would have hurt bad all across the country. So thank you again.
Well, I appreciate the thank you. And I can tell you, thank you. I'll just add to that, and because Bob obviously, it was part of the ownership group that approved the CBA, and what I can tell you is that, especially in Pittsburgh, a couple of our sports writers have really come after us, like, why did you vote in favor of it, right? Because it wasn't the best deal for a small market team. And I'm not saying anything out of school there. It's just, it's been reported as not being the best deal for the small market teams. But like many of the business deals that all of you do, right? They're not always exactly what you wanted, not always exactly the best for your organization, but it may be better for the greater good. And I think at the end of the day, what I really respect about it is not only the owners, but the players as well. Because what was interesting was the players' their negotiating team actually voted against the deal that was approved. Their players actually voted over top of them and voted in favor of it. And I think I really respect that the union, the players, and at the end of the day, the owners all realized that what was better for the greater good, and the greater good being the cities in which we play in on the regular season and the cities in which we play our spring training. We've all been hit pretty hard over the last 2 years, right? And it's not lost on us that had an impact on Bradenton and Manatee County. And so we were just glad to be able to get baseball back as quickly as possible. I know that was first and foremost on Bob's mind, was we need to get baseball back. Even if the deal wasn't the greatest for us, we need to get baseball back, and that's what we did.
How close was it to spring training not happening?
Well, interesting, spring training would have always happened. I don't think spring training would have gone away because you needed to have the ramp-up period. The question was going to be how long was spring training and how much time. And I think we all learned through 2020 that what a short spring training meant, right, in terms of shortening it up and not having as much time, and then the ramp back up period and the injuries that you saw. So I think nobody wanted to compress it. We wanted it as 4 weeks as best as possible. Nobody thought it could go down to 3 weeks or else it would be a real disaster. So I think you're seeing the short ramp up time. It was 3 full workouts before we're going to get to our first game, which is unusual. And we did it differently this year. As a matter of fact, we've, if you haven't, Lecom Park has been utilized unlike it's ever been utilized. We've had full Major League spring training at Lecom. We never do that. We always started at Pirate City. We whittle down the roster and we play games, and then they move over with the smaller roster, which it's appropriately sized for in the clubhouse and the field usage. And we actually are stretching the limits of what we can do there on the backfield. We literally have 2 batting cages, or 2 batting, what they call turtles, which are these, which is the backdrop or the back screen, if you think of it, during batting practice. And we literally have 2 of them set up side by side with a right-hand curveball machine and a left-hand curveball machine. You have 2 guys hitting. And actually, it was adopted from Japan. That's how they do batting practice in Japan, is they actually very efficient. 2 guys in at the same time hitting. So we took that, we implemented it because we only have the 1 backfield there, and we have the main field. So the main field's got a lot going on. And then last year, good fortune, we actually put in some pitching tunnels, or pitching hit mounds, and so that you could actually have guys pitching. You have the batting cage. You got 2 people hitting batting practice in the backfield. So you should see this. I mean, it's like a game of Jenga, like trying to figure out how to get everybody all their activity they need to. And there's nobody that's sitting still. They're taking grounders. They're running the bases. They're hitting. They're fielding. They're doing everything all at once. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah, I was going to say we'll probably owe you a few new windshields. I think we've hit a few over even over the high screen back there. All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And, one of the takeaways when Travis was describing their culture and the strategic planning and their mission for their team was hire the right people and give them what they need to succeed. So what a good takeaway and a good reminder for all of us as leaders of teams within our own organization. So thank you so much to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Travis, thank you so much. 24 hours in town, and you're here with the business community. We are so grateful. Jeff, look forward to your leadership next year as our chairman of the board. Rick, Mr. Chairman, another great Headliners event. Thank you for your leadership as well. Thank you to Florida Power and Light, the Mosaic Company, and the Realtors Association of Sarasota Manatee for their annual sponsorship of our Headliners events. Next month, we will be welcoming the mayor of the city of Bradenton, Gene Brown, as well as the mayor of the city of Palmetto, Shirley Groover-Bryant, for a State of the City's address. So we hope that you'll join us on April 13th. We'll be right back here at Pier 22 for our April Headliners events. 3 other dates for your calendars, for those that you want to keep these in mind. Next week, we will enjoy our annual Politics and Pints event, which is the opportunity that we have to bring our state representatives and our state senators who just wrapped up session in Tallahassee to come and address the business community on what were the successes and what things maybe didn't quite get across the finish line with regards to our advocacy and policy needs in Tallahassee. So I understand we are very close to selling out Politics and Pints. So if you want to join us and have some FaceTime with our state elected officials, get your reservations in right away. On April 7th, we will be at Seaport, Manatee for our annual Ship Shape Showcase, which you need to be very careful saying on camera, but that is the opportunity that we take to have a trade show. So it's a great opportunity to promote your business, but on top of that, even if you don't have a booth at Ship Shape Showcase, I hope you will come out for a networking opportunity. We typically have between 500 and 700 chamber members that come and enjoy time together. There are narrated bus tours of the port, so if you have not been to Seaport Manatee to really get a perspective of what an economic driver and how lucky we are to have a deep water seaport in our county, I hope you'll join us for Ship Shape. showcase. And then on June 16th, we will honor the healthcare community. And Travis even gave some recognition to the incredible heroes that have been working around the clock nonstop for more than 2 years to take care of our community. And we will be honoring champions within the healthcare industry on June 16th. Your opportunity right now is to consider nominating individuals, organizations, businesses, programs that have been serving our community in many ways to support our healthcare industry. And then I hope that you'll consider attending the event on June 16th. I have no doubt that this year in particular, bringing back the Champions of Healthcare Awards, that event will sell out. So with that, I hope you enjoy your day. I'll see you all in 48 hours and 10 minutes at Lecom Park for Pirates baseball. Have a great afternoon.